Welcome to Real World Peaceful Parenting, a podcast for parents that are tired of yelling, threatening, and punishing their kids. Join mom and master certified parent coach Lisa Smith as she gives you actionable, step-by-step strategies that'll help you transform your household from chaos to cooperation. Let's dive in.
Welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to be with you here today. And as I sit here and record today's episode, our temperatures in Arizona are slowly moving their way down the thermostat, and it is truly glorious. Oh, goodness, I love October. I just love the month of October. Now, a fun fact about me that you might not know is that I love reading. And truth be told, romance novels are some of my favorite books to read. And I really enjoy when at the end of a great book, the author provides an epilogue. Yeah? An epilogue is a section at the end of the book that serves as a comment or a conclusion to what has happened, right? So oftentimes we get to the end of the romance novel and there's a happy ever after, and then the author fast forwards 5, 10, 20 years, and you get to find out sort of a summary of what happened to the couple that fell in love. Oh, yum. I love it when I finish a great book and then bam, you get an epilogue. Yeah? You get a peek into where it goes, and that just feels like the cherry on top of the sundae, if you will. So today, with that in mind, I thought I would share with you a follow-up episode, an epilogue, if you will. If you listened to episode 39 2 weeks ago, the Lego War, you had a front row seat to the coaching session that I had with Lyra, who is the mom of 3 boys, 6, 3, and 11 months old. And during episode 39, we talked about the importance of having a routine. We talked about some tools you can use to regulate yourself when your child is storming. We talked about how to bring limits into your families and the benefits of doing so. We talked about some tips for harnessing more cooperation from your child. And finally, we talked about how to stop the power struggle with your child. And of course, we'll link in the show notes here to episode 39. Now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I do my very best to bring you tips, ideas, and support that help you create deep connection and cooperation with your kids right now. And as I've said before, while reading and listening is information, coaching is transformation. Coaching is where the magic really happens. So today is an amazing opportunity, an amazing chance to bring you the epilogue of episode 39. And I have to admit to you, this happened organically, if you will, on the fly. And with today's episode, I invite you to listen to a follow-up coaching call and conversation with Lyra and I that we had this week in our weekly membership called The Hive. And today, Lyra was telling us about her aha moments, what worked, what didn't work. And we brainstormed on how to create connection and cooperation with her 6-year-old strong-willed son as a follow-up to episode 39. So it's really an epilogue, if you will, of episode 39. And I thought, wow, how great would this be for you to have a chance to listen to a coaching call that is a second coaching opportunity or a follow-up to the original coaching call. And remember, the tools that we discussed today are universal across all ages. So listen in, and as you're listening, think about how to bring these tools into your own home with your own kids to overcome your own resistance and defiance that you might be receiving from your kids, and how to strengthen or create the connection and cooperation that you're looking for. So enjoy listening.
I haven't circled back with you since the podcast episode, so it's great to come back.
I got a lot of incredible feedback on that podcast. People loved it.
Thank you. Mel, I feel you on where it's hard to kind of take that in a little bit. When you ask the question, like, is it okay? I feel the same way. about the podcast. So thank you for saying that. And so I have a success story to share on that, update on where we've gone, and then question. So the success story on the cleaning up the playroom, the Lego Wars, we've had a real shift in how we interact on this, Charles and I. So I took the feedback on making it more fun on the freeze game, making it into a game, making it into a way we could bond. And we've had several days since then where he has been really cooperative and cleaning up with me. We've done the freeze game, and where
Imagine
we're
that.
both where we're both just cracking up because I'll help him. So we'll be in the middle of cleaning, and then I'll say freeze, and then we'll like freeze in like a really weird posture, or like sometimes he'll fall over laughing, and he'll do it. Like he just will pick up all the Legos and all the pieces, and like we'll make it race, like who can do it faster, and I'm gonna beat you. And then he gets real competitive about it. He's like, no, I'm gonna win. And so that's been huge for us. Huge. So thank you for that. I don't even know how to express it verbally, but just such a huge shift in like my approach too. And I'm trying to be more fun and realize that I can sometimes be a little bit like train conductor, like you said in the podcast, where I just want to get it done. And I get into manager mode and I'm tired. And I could have all of my rationalizations, but those don't really work for a 6-year-old or a 3-year-old or a baby, and why they're going to not tear the room apart and why they're going to help me clean up. So I've been doing a lot of self work on that. So the success is just Charles and I having a lot more connection time when we're cleaning up and more fun with it. And for example, last night, and again, I'm tired at the end of the night. I tend to just want to be like, just get it done and go to bed. I will pause more if we're heading into the power struggle. If like he wants to do power struggle mode with me, like with brushing teeth last night, he was cooperating really well. We had the cleanup and it was fun. Oh no, we hadn't done that yet. We were going to go brush teeth. And he was like, no, I don't want to do the brushing the teeth. And he's like laying on the floor. And I'm like, okay, well, let's pause. How about we go instead and race to the playroom and let's do some jumps on the trampoline, and so I redirected, we did something else, and then we came back to it, and he was ready to brush his teeth and he was fine with it. There was no struggle. Instead of being like, no, we're going to do it right now. I was like, okay, you're not ready for it. We'll come back to it. And then he was ready. I have observed the times where he does not cooperate with me on cleaning up the playroom. There's been some times where we've like hit heads with it this past weekend, and we had a really hard day. We'd had a couple of really good days, and I was like, oh, this is great. Our world has changed. It's all better now. And then we had a step back and we had a really bad day. Or that's a judgment on it. But we had a challenging day where he didn't want to do anything, was like a constant no, fighting with me, didn't want to clean up. That we spent the whole day trying to like clean up the playroom. And I'm like, God, I'm back in the Lego war. I thought I was done. And upon reflecting on what was different that day versus the other days, I realized is one, it was the weekend and I was off work and I'd been working, was really busy. Working the days before. My husband went to work. So it was the changing of the guard. It was a transition for him. He hadn't seen me for, most of the days before, for a couple of days. And I hadn't really spent any time connecting with him. Like we were together, but we weren't doing any quality one-on-one time all day. Thank you, Viv. And that really surprised me. I was like, oh, so he was trying to get attention and connection with me through negative attention because we hadn't connected together, I think. And so the next morning, I spent more time connecting with him one-on-one, even just a few minutes, hard sometimes with all three of them, as you know, but just giving him more attention, and it changed the tone again, and he was back to being cooperative.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Cooperation follows connection.
Yeah. I thought I had been connecting because we were doing fun things. We were on the go all day, but they were like family on the go to the baseball game, to see your cousin's baseball game, go run an air, like do all these things, but it wasn't connection. It was activity.
Yeah.
which I
And
think is an
sometimes
important distinction.
if we're intentional, they can be the same thing. But if we're not intentional about the connection, we're keeping our kids busy and moving from thing to thing and tiring them out, but we're not connecting.
Right. And then that can lead to more storming because then they're tired out. Right.
Yeah,
they're tired.
Exactly. 100% yes. Yes.
It's like, we had such a fun day. Why aren't you cooperating?
Right. And then we get mad, right? Because, I'm doing all this for you and, you're not cooperating, but there's no connection or little connection.
And I think I'm learning what connection means for him. And that's it evolves as he gets older. But I'm realizing again that he still needs very tactile, physical connection. Like I was reading to him and he's just like laying on me. And then he'll do something weird, like nibble on my arm or something. Like, what are you doing? But again, he's just like, I'm like, okay, he just wants your attention and just to touch you, even though you think that's weird. He's nibbling on your arm like a cat or something. But so it's just that, learning his language. One question I have on this, so this has been amazing. When we do get into the storm and when he is storming and he goes into the mode of his anger and he's hitting or screaming, it's again, thrashing on the floor. This was that weekend night I explained where he was not cooperating and not wanting to clean up the playroom. By the end of the night, he's like laying there. He's not even dressed. He refuses to get his jammies on. So he's just on the floor naked, rolling around and screaming and hitting. And I'm like, okay, you need to go. So what I usually do is take a break in your playroom in your room, because that's the only thing that seems to interrupt the cycle. And I don't want to get hit and I don't want the brother to get hit or William, especially because then I get really mad if he starts throwing something at William, the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he's a baby. You can really hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually a battle to get him into his room. He'll scream and say no, or he'll tell me he wants something like, I want my audiobook. And we usually say no at that point, because we think that if we say yes, we're reinforcing that it's okay for him to behave that way and then get what he wants.
Okay.
And he's saying, I want the audiobook because that's what's going to he literally is saying, that's the only thing that's going to calm me down. And I am not going to calm down without my audiobook. And you're just making it worse if you won't give me my audiobook. So do I give him the audiobook in his room, or am I just reinforcing that in his brain that if he acts like this, he gets his audiobook?
Well,
to calm down.
How about a whole nother idea? Like, how about you say, Charles, how about we go get dressed? And while we're getting dressed, you can tell me what you love about the audiobook.
And that's while he's like screaming and flailing.
Well, he says, I want the audiobook. So
right.
He's communicating to you.
Yes, he is verbally communicating. He's also often hitting at this point. And then, so I'm like a little bit hands off.
Or, you could be like, hey, come on, let's go in your room and get dressed while you tell me your motion changes emotion. So we want to get him moving in the direction with something that he's fun and excited about, and redirect him from anchoring in over this point and move on to the next point,
Okay.
I do this with my kid all the time. He calls me yesterday on his way to practice. I bought him a pair of sunglasses a few weeks ago. They were on sale. His first nice pair of sunglasses. It's hard to drive here in Arizona. The sun is so bright. You really do need to drive around with sunglasses. So I bought him a pair, and someone stole him out of his car. He left his car unlocked. We have a lot of stupid, petty theft here. I told him to lock his car. He just left it unlocked. Someone must have gone in and gotten his sunglasses because they're gone. So he calls me, Mom, I want to earn money to get a new pair of sunglasses. Oh, hey, tell me what you loved about those sunglasses. Oh, they fit so well. They look good. They were super. They protected me from the sun, blah, blah. I go, okay, are you almost at practice? Yeah, I'm almost there. I go, okay, why don't you practice? And then when you get home tonight, we'll talk about how you can earn the sunglasses. It's just redirecting them. I didn't go, what? No. But, I was in the middle of doing something and I didn't want to talk about it right then. I didn't have jobs in mind. It's just redirecting them, because you don't want to give in. because then you're going to feel like he's manipulating you. And if you say no, you might as well just hand him another storm on a platter. So let's sort of find the middle where you're hearing him. He really loves this audiobook. Tell me about it, buddy. While we're getting our jammies on, why don't you tell me what you love about the book, or what books do you love? What's your favorite audiobook? Tell him, who are the characters' names, right? And that's going to help regulate him.
Right. It'll help him kind of work through that.
And he's going to be getting attention from you in a way that works for you rather than in a way that doesn't work for you.
Right. That's what I'm hearing in this too. And what you're saying is that it's still looking for a point of connection, because I think underneath the flailing, and that's what he really wants, is that connection.
Yeah.
Right.
I bet.
And I did try, like, I was like, well, come here, do you need a hug? Like, I was like, let's sit down and like come into my lap. And then of course, William, the baby, is like, started screaming and trying to push Charles off of my lap. But, so I'm like, okay, this is not lost on me that you don't really get full. And like, I'm holding this long, gangly 6-year-old like a baby, is how he basically curled into my lap with like limbs sticking out everywhere. So that is a way to connect and then still move us towards the room. And as far as redirecting with the hitting, I mean, do you, I know you've said this, you don't really address it at the time, but is there something I can say or do, like in the moment when he hits his brother or is like hitting me? I just say, we don't hit Charles. We don't do that, and I try to stop it that way, but I don't know what else to do to kind of, he'll get in this mode where he'll like just keep going. He'll keep doing it. And then I feel like I'm being attacked by my own 6-year-old. Like I start to get really dysregulated. I'm like, no, stop. Seriously, you need to stop.
Well, if you're feeling attacked, I mean, you can always gently but firmly grab his arms and hold him so that he can't hit you. And later, I think you just keep reinforcing, hey, I know you're working on it. I know you are. And I just, we're going to continue to work on this. We don't hit people.
Yeah.
That's how I would say it. So I don't know how you're saying it now, but you never want to say you don't hit your brother, because then I feel like it's about the brother. And in truth, we just don't hit people.
Yeah. I say we don't hit each other, or that's not how we handle our anger in this family. I think
so. Okay. So let's be more clear, because that's confusing to a 6-year-old. That's not how we handle anger. And we don't hit people. We don't put our hands on people. You want one sentence and you want to say it the same way every single time, because we're trying to create a ski track in the brain, a neural pathway. We don't hit people. We don't hit people. We don't hit people. It's like you want to be as crystal clear as you can be. We don't hit people.
Okay.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Oh, I just loved it. And thank you again, Lyra, for following up and sharing more with us of how it's going for you and Charles. And as a listener, I really hope you enjoyed the follow-up conversation. And I hope that it deepened your understanding of the tools, and it will lead to connection and cooperation with your strong-willed kids. So until we meet again, I'm wishing you peaceful parenting. Thank you so much for listening today. I want to personally invite you to head over to thepeacefulparent.com/welcome and sign up for my free Peaceful Parenting mini course. You'll find everything you need to get started on the path to peaceful parenting just waiting for you over there at www.thepeacefulparent.com/welcome. Can't wait for you to get started.
Thanks for listening to Real World Peaceful Parenting. If you want more info on how you can transform your parenting, visit thepeacefulparent.com. See you soon.